We're back for the second half. I didn't ask, but I meant to. Did we maybe want to only do 1 hour so we could get Dave into bed on time?
Let's see how we go. I mean, I have more stuff planned, but I can certainly accommodate Dave. So
it's all good, boys. You just keep doing what you're doing.
All right, no worries. So, about an hour later, in the central, so there's like a between all the various factories, there's obviously like these large roadways where like mass shipments can be done of material between factories, and effectively this central thoroughfare is being completely cleared out for this procession down which this tank will be wheeled, with tech priests on one side, janissaries on the other. And it's like for all, you don't really see a lot of emotion among tech priests. Certainly, there's things like confetti being thrown as this, although it's probably like more like metal shavings than it is actual paper confetti.
It's chaff from anti-missile interception.
As there's this cheer as this Lord of War is transported down the central street of this town or this city. At the far end is a dais upon which the Fabricator General is, the Armor Keeper, all of you. So, I mean, how is everyone? So other than Nero, who is dressed in his finest red robes of Mars, how does everyone else dress themselves for a ceremony like this?
I think Adrian would just be wearing like a freshly pressed dress uniform of the battle fleet.
Yep. So naval uniform, like with like in all medals showing that sort of stuff, for test purposes.
Yeah. So I mean, he doesn't have a ton, but there's a few there.
Yep. Okay. 3 Purple Hearts. No?
Shot in the same place 3 times.
But what about Pierre Pondo?
I think he'd have like his typical major event attire, probably like some sort of big
cravat. You're going for a
trench
cravat,
coat like a thing.
Okay, I think you're going for like a cravat with that sort of ruffle around the throat type indication.
I mean, with that, and then like big pauldrons with a bunch of ropes, just
tassels.
Essentially, over excessive.
Okay. Do you wear your pistol belt?
Of course.
Okay.
It's ceremonial.
All my pistols in, with the exception of the Hell pistol, which needs a backpack.
Okay, no worries. So, do you feel naked without your Hell pistol and backpack?
No, I mean that's a new thing. That's okay. Out taking care of business thing.
And is Dawn like more the sort of the armor wearing for official purposes, or more like the sort of the robe or habit wearing style?
It's probably robe and habit. Like if this is like, Dawn doesn't have any problems going into like an event without armor too much. So she would have the sword, but she wouldn't have like, I don't know, she wouldn't be armored, I guess is what I'm trying to say. She'd probably have like a version of her robes that's a little more ostentatious, I would say.
Okay.
But other than that, it would be the same. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Ivy has turned up as well, along with wearing her, her robes of office. She also has her 2 cybermastiffs here, along with the 4 servitors she has co-opted from Ada New, which are all now dressed in printed T-shirts from the ship. The Lord Captain is my captain sort of shirts as well. Sorry. So what's the latest? What's the latest slogan being hot off the press?
I don't know. I don't have anything snappy prepared.
Okay. All right. So there are some combat servitors dressed in these shirts.
Oh, okay. So that's what we got from the ordeal. Okay.
Unbelievable.
I guess we're doing some ramming and boarding maneuvers now.
Lord Commodore, take the wheel.
So probably the most unusual thing that you guys identify from this setup is that in front of the dais, whatever, is a large bubbling cauldron. So like a wrought iron large bowl with a bubbling dark liquid in it that seems to have from the scent, it seems to be a mixture of blood and oil. To a heat that's keeping it in a liquid consistency, which doesn't seem very cult mechanicus to you, but in any case, it's what they've got set up. So there's no opportunity to talk or say anything while everyone's cheering, but the tank is rolled directly up in front of you guys. So you got to remember this is a tank which is 4 stories tall. So even up on a stage, sorry.
It's 4 stories tall?
It's like a small apartment building, man.
Yeah, Nero just says I could drive that.
How long is it? Like a football field?
Yeah, I'd say it's. I mean, they're huge. If you look at the actual the models for them, they easily.
The model is much different in comparison, I think. My size of scale for 40K is just way off.
Okay, well so let me explain it. So it's the dimensions here. So it's clearance off the ground. So above the ground level, you're looking at about 4 feet off the ground clearance. Its total height is about 22 feet. I'm trying to work out meters to feet here. So it's about 23 feet tall. It is approximately 30 feet wide and about 55 feet long.
Jeez. Okay.
So, I mean, it's got 3 separate decks inside the tank for operating as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason that they are considered super heavy tanks. So yeah, still like, and so it's basically pointing towards you with this, giant Vulcan mega bolter sort of aimed over the tops of your heads. And the lead tech priest sort of like, because a lot of the people who are on either side can no longer see the stage because the tank's in the way now. So there's big picked feeds showing what's on the stage. And Pierre, you've actually been assigned a translator. Like there's like a guy there who, when you speak, will translate what you're saying into binaric or Technolingo or some other sort of mechanicus language that the others will get. And the armor keeper, motions everybody for silence. And then he walks to the front of the tank and places his hand where he can against the tracks. Oh, great Lord of War, we are here today to give you into the care of one of the Emperor's servants, Lord Commodore Pierre Cowles, rogue trader. And he starts to like rattle off. I mean, you've got all sorts of names. Like you've got you've got noble titles of like you're a Baron of Scintilla. You are the champion, the hero of the Battle of Regina 4. It spends like the next 5 minutes rattling off various titles that you have either been given or have given yourself, which have all been recorded on your details. And now we lay upon you the blood of the slain, so that you may deliver more blood to the foot of the God Emperor. And he takes out like a paintbrush and dips it into this bubbling oil and blood mix and sort of daubs it onto the tracks of the tank. And then he walks up onto the stage and effectively like flicks the brush at you. So like just small gobbets of oily blood are sort of splashed onto your skin and clothes. So he does it first to Pierre, but also to the others here as part of the Hand of Calixis. We baptize you with the blood of the slain, so that you may convey and command this vehicle and its mortal crew to the war and battlefront in which it is needed. We waken the great machine spirit and prepare it for battle. Are you, Pierre Cowles, willing to take an oath that you will guide and protect this servant of the God Emperor, of the machine god, of Mars and ever humanity, and transport it with the reverence and care which is due to the field of battle, where it may slay the enemies of mankind.
I will.
The translator basically this effectively makes a symbol of one, and then everybody around cheers. They bring the crew over as well, and the crew are all 18 of them are asked to take a knee and swear an oath to you that they will serve you until such time as you transfer control of the Tide of Iron over to the forces of which it's destined to serve. Then does the Tempested Prime, Castro Torth. He, on behalf of the Janissaries, commits that while they are in your care, that they serve you and your ship and your crew until you transport them where they need to be. So there's a lot of what happens is a procession of people basically coming forward. It probably takes about 2 or 3 hours to get through everybody, stopping for cheering, stopping for photographs for posterity as well. They literally come over and get someone with a pick thief to get photographs for the annals and for the archives of this as well. And then someone comes by afterwards and checks the spelling of your name so it can be properly entered into the codexes of time. Before finally, probably a bit after midnight, things quieten down and start to break up. The tech priests seem to have no interest in partying after the ceremony. They're interested in going back to their work. Probably some of the Janissaries do go off to open some alcohol and celebrate this. Otherwise, the mechanisms of the planet sort of go back to normal, and they start preparing for a lifter that can actually get the Tide of Iron up to the Hand of Calixis. So the agency, so Artemis 5.8 approaches you once the ceremony is done, and he hands you a cloth, like a warm towel, to wipe the blood off your face if you want to.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you again for everything that you did while on the planet. You did more than was expected, and you have protected. You've already shown a willingness to protect this great machine.
Absolutely.
The Lades will be in your debt. If you have need of specialized equipment, if you have any requirement for us to work your items, please let us know.
I'll be sure to do that. Always nice to have the mechanicus on your side.
So from now on, if you guys are ordering gear, if you're prepared to wait an extra month for it, you can add the Lade Forge quality to it.
Which
what does that do?
Lowers weight, right?
And it gives a +1 to armor rating.
Yeah, if it's Lade Forged armor. Yeah.
So sorry, say it again. We can have that done?
Yeah, so without needing to add any additional difficulty to an acquisition roll, you can have your stuff Lathe Forged. It just adds time, because you've got to get it sent from here. Obviously, if you're here right now, it wouldn't require anything.
Can we get what we already have reforged lathe-wise?
Well, it's different materials, because it has to be made of specialized materials that are done here, so you have to require it at the current.
As we all know, what Nero originally wanted was a lathe-forged, ironclad heavy armor.
Yeah.
Lord Captain, now would be the best time to get lathe-forged shock trooper armor.
Yes, about that acquisition rolls we haven't done yet this session.
Of course, Lord Captain. We descend upon him like sharks.
Now you guys jump to the opportunity real fast.
It's not every day you get access to the rarest armor outside of Archaeotech.
So, I don't know what this planet would qualify for as far as population-wise or anything like that.
I will tell you.
Okay.
Stand by.
I'll go ahead and roll the first commerce roll. I'm guessing I won't get pure.
5 billion.
Okay, well, all right. I'll go ahead and roll the first commerce roll.
Yep. I can take Venator tank. It's the Valdor tank, sorry, they make here, not the Venator.
Just at a plus 20, essentially.
Yes.
Because I did no pure mercantile or nobility here.
No.
Yeah. 5.9.
So plus 10%.
I guess we'll try for the heavy power armor, Lathe.
No.
Do you
no,
have
no. Wait, listen. That would be great, but in actuality, Lathe Forged Stormtrooper carapace, best quality, would be incredible for being out of the power armor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about the modifier for Lathe Forged.
Right.
So you just need to work out the.
No, I think Lathe Forged is automatically best quality, so.
Yep. So just work it out as don't worry about
Best
the quality
quality,
modifier.
very rare. So whatever
very rare.
best quality does to a very rare.
So should we just get like 5 for all of us?
Sure.
So best quality lathe very rare on this planet will be a +0 total. Plus 30 if you want only 1. Plus 20 if you want. So you'd be looking at a plus 20 plus your success there, plus 30. So to get 5 best quality, you would be a 66% chance.
That's a shot I'm willing to have Pondo take.
Yeah.
66?
66.
Okay, we got it. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's it.
We just have to wait a month for it, essentially. It'll be sent to us.
No, you're on planet here, so they can do it. They
okay.
can make it for you. Like they'll prepare it for you now. It'll probably take like a day or so. Well, the time it takes you to load up the Tide of Iron, it'll be produced in that time.
Okay, so...
Oh boy, Nero's gonna paint this fucking armor. This is gonna become an heirloom in his family.
So what was the armor that you got?
Best quality Lathe Forged Stormtrooper carapace.
Which we got 5 suits of, right? So everybody gets one.
Everyone gets a suit.
And we have a spare in case someone needs it.
What is the details on that?
It is, I guess it'd be 7.
It's 7 armor, and it weighs half as much, so it's only 8 kilograms.
But it's not powered, so it won't add to your strength.
Right.
Nor is it vacuum sealed. So
Correct. It's walking around armor for when you don't need to go to the battlefield or space.
yeah, I mean,
Surprisingly, it's a large amount of time.
I mean, it's the whole question. When you walk in power armor, your intent is pretty clear half the time. But, you know, in something light, it might be more easily passing.
Okay. So it's the same as the light power armor then, I guess, right?
It's
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
much lighter than the light power armor. And it's like normal people.
Weighs 7.5 kilos as opposed to 40 kilos on the light power armor. But the light power armor, once again, is powered, so you don't really feel that weight because it's machine assisted.
So what was it called?
It's a really long name. It's Lathe Forged Best Quality Stormtrooper carapace.
Stormtrooper.
So, I guess we could go ahead and try to get like 5 sets of the light power armor, or just regular power armor at this point.
So keep in mind that power armor has the near unique quality, so you get no benefit for going for less of it.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Does it? It says.
Oh no, so no, it's only right. It's extremely rare. Extremely rare.
It's only
so
very rare. Okay.
Okay. So 5 light power armor would be +0. Yeah, it'd be a +0 roll to get light power armor lathe forged.
And then +20 for wanting just 5, and then.
Well, so that's -20 for extremely rare, +20 for wanting just 5, and then you get the best quality for free here right now. So an extra 12 brings you up to 48.
Nope,
no.
That's about right. That's about standard.
It's really important to note that on Lathe Forged armor, the penetration value of attacks made against you is halved.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's huge.
Anything else we want to try to get aside from that, or I guess we need your crack missiles.
Yes, we really could use crack missiles. And also
Okay.
non-crack missiles, frag missiles. Crack missiles are scarce, frag missiles are average, and I need at least 5 for every barrage. It fires them one at a time, but the clip is 5.
So aim for 5.
So
crack
one
missiles.
one acquisition is 1 clip's worth.
Ah, okay.
I still would have felt that other roll. See, look at that.
Okay, so scarce is going to be at a +10. How many clips did you want?
I think just 1 is what you wanted. Or do you want 2?
Oh, Pondo,
Well, I
why
guess-
stop with just 1 on a premier sniper weapon? Why don't we say we get 5, and then I never
Sniper
have to
weapon.
worry about... Listen, I want you to imagine, all right? Adrian descending on an armed weapons platform, right? And then the door on the side opens and missiles begin to rain out one by one over the battlefield. Orcs screaming and dying as
So
So okay, Pondo, 68% chance to get 5.
all right.
We can do our own death blossom. I'll pilot the vulture. You just stand in the door with a missile launcher.
and just
I'll
hold the
just
trigger.
spin it in a circle.
So
There's no way
I'll go
this could
ahead.
fail.
Does anybody want anything else?
So you've got 5 reloads of crack missiles, AP.
I
Perfect.
feel like that's like 4 more than you actually need, but maybe 3 more. But
Well, that's 4 reloads and then the original one. But yeah, I understand. Good.
if there's nothing else anybody needs, I might try to get the light power armor again, or the regular power armor, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's probably our best use of this. For because we're here, like we might as well.
Which I think was essentially +0 for 1
Yep.
and 5. Yada yada yada. Plus my failure here.
Don't beat yourself up, Pondo. See, look at that. Look at that.
I'll up it to 9.
Okay, cool.
Why not?
But 9, okay, so you get 18. So 18 and 36 is 54.
54. Okay.
You've been rolling pretty well. I believe in you, Pondo.
You jinxed it. You said something and you jinxed it. Okay.
So close.
I don't think that's how probability works, but I'll let you have it.
That's how
Okay.
life works. All right. You tell me the
So-
odds and then that happens.
All of this is happening while you're doing these deals while getting everything transported back up to the ship. So at some later point, a day or so later, while you're getting all this stuff sorted out, you're on the bridge of the ship, Pondo, when you get the Voxer said, we're getting a call from the surface, Lord Commodore. It's for you.
Oh, absolutely. We'll pull it up.
Okay. So they pull it up. Now, the person that comes up on the screen is a woman that is probably she's got short, scraggly hair, sort of like think of like Arya Stark's hair from Game of Thrones and such. Like it's like unkept, and but also not long. It's like it's grown a bit longer than shaved just from time, and she's got like a quite a significant scar on the right hand side of her face that cuts into her lip and draws her top lip up into like a Richter sneer. So she can't fully close the top and bottom halves of her lip on that side of her face. The uniform that she's wearing looks similar to like an Arbitrator's uniform. Like it looks like some sort of magistrate's uniform or something similar. But you do recognize an inquisitorial, like the eye of Malcador, the inquisitorial eye on like the neck piece of her armor. You don't recognize her though.
That should be good.
Yep. You're Lord Cowles, yes?
Yes, and who am I speaking with?
I forgot my name and I can't find the page, so I'm just bringing it up again.
Oh, I know what that's like sometimes.
Yeah, we've all been there, James. Don't worry about that.
I want to say it's not Strain, it's something similar. Skane, Inquisitor Skane, Astrid
Ah,
Skane. I work with Anton Zerb as well.
Pleasure to meet you.
I was here on some other duties, but Zerb asked me to reach out to you. He had some information he wanted to, a warning information. I'm not sure he wanted me to share with you.
It's probably both.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a picked file to tell your person there be ready to receive it.
Okay.
So a pict comes up, and it's a photograph taken on Scintilla in Hive Sibyllus, and it's of the outside of your estate in the Hive. Just take it from the street, or like the gardens there. So effectively, there's a side of your estate which faces outside the Hive, and there's part which actually is integrated into the Hive as well. And somebody has spray painted Harlock Lives on the wall of your estate. So
that's most concerning.
Zerb wanted you to know this. Apparently, the magistrates picked up the two scum that did this, and they were mad beyond any reckoning to be able to determine who put them up to it. So obviously, the information about you, he says, is not well known, but somebody has communicated it to some down-hive dregs in Scintilla, who took it upon themselves to write it on your estate.
Well, I hope someone's going to clean that off of my estate.
Yeah, that'll get taken care of.
Oh, thank you. Are the I should say punks dead, or are they being interrogated as we speak?
Well, they're in a madhouse at the moment.
Oh, well, lovely.
I don't really know much more than that. If you want to know more, you better reach out to Zerb directly.
I'll see if I can get a hold of him directly then. Thank you for the passing of information.
All right, she hangs up.
Okay. I don't know how I keep running into all these inquisitors here. I'm not really looking for them.
Nero.
Yo.
You're on the ship when you get a message asking you to come to the choir chamber.
The Navigator choir chamber.
No, the
Psyker choir chamber.
That's right, yeah. It's come from Stein Bethel, the choir master.
Yeah, okay. Like, Nero is super weirded out, but he shows up in his new lathe-forged Stormtrooper carapace, which is covered in Cadian symbology and Imperial Guard, Imperial Navy, the ship's personal colors, his personal colors on the world that he's the Baron of, his queen's colors. It's literally... It's like if someone wore a dress uniform. It's like that sheriff from America that wears a dress uniform colored in medals, but instead it's like, these are the people I rep for. Literally half the factions in the Imperium. And he shows up trying not to peacock and failing.
Okay, no worries. So once you enter the chamber, you've been in the choir chamber before, but the air in here is a little bit more oppressive than usual. Like, there's obviously something psychically going on right now, and Bethor is waiting for you. He looks a little bit sicker. He looks like he's gone from like executive cream to alabaster, and looks a little bit more.
It hurts me that I know what you're saying.
I think it hurts me more.
Yeah, I was gonna say the face palm from Hondo said it says it all.
He looks like
you look polar bear white.
Yes, we are receiving a direct astropathic communication for you from a Brother Lonan of the Death Watch.
Oh shit! Is he speaking Gothic in any way?
Are you ready to receive?
Yes. Is Lonan the one that only speaks in Gaelic? The Space Wolf?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I just want to check and make sure I'm going to be able to understand what's happening. Because if one of these choir masters turns to me and just is like, "I we pity, I down to the yeah."
Yeah,
English breakfast.
Died,
I'm just gonna be like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah, no, I think all but two of them died.
So there were two one was put into a dreadnought, and this one was the one that survived.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but yeah, like if you ever watch the film Snatch, the accent that Brad Pitt has in Snatch is how this guy sounds. So,
Can we even understand him then?
no, he couldn't last time. so Bethor's like stature straightens somewhat, and like the temperature once again drops in the room. And you're used to when people do direct communication that the person in front of you speaks with the voice of the sender. But in this case, when Bethor speaks, although you can tell like his blind eyes are unfocused anyway, but he's actually speaking with his own voice. And so Bethor says to you, Nero Bullet, I have utilized this vessel's own language centers to communicate with you because it will help in the understanding.
I appreciate that, Brother Lornan.
I must speak with you on a very private matter, and so I have installed a psychic bomb into this communication that will wipe the memory of the communication from your choir after it takes place.
That sounds dangerous. Very well. I am prepared to receive this communication and the risk it entails to this crew.
Inquisitor Shrain wishes to make contact with you on a regular basis. He believes there is something that you can help him directly with. His intent is that starting shortly, you will begin receiving communications from your family on Cadia. You are to take these communications and apply a triliteration cipher against the first and third letter of every word with more than 2 letters, against the second letter of every 2-letter word, and you are to exclude every first-letter word. Apply the triliteration against the chapter in the book he gave you that speaks about the encounter with orcs during the Decantes Crusade. The third point of the triliteration should give you the message or the messages hidden in these communications. This is something for you and for you alone, Nero Bullet.
I am prepared for this particular undertaking. We have spoken, Brain and I, in the past, and it is time.
Very well. If you believe you are compromised, you are to destroy the book you were given.
I understand.
Very good.
Is there some symbol by which I might make myself known to those who stand in the path of the Inquisition?
You mean those who stand against or those who stand with us?
Against bad people. There's something I could use to intimidate them. I don't exactly have a rosette lying around.
Yeah, nothing that I can give you through this communication.
Yes.
I'll tell Shrain that you seek some symbol of authority.
Very well. Tell Shrain that I will serve as his agent.
Very good. And that Bethor and most of the choir actually like collapse. And sort of the room goes quiet as everybody sort of in effectively a comatose state.
Yeah, Nero pulls out a water bottle and just sips for a while now that he sold his soul to the Ordo Xenos. And after about 2 minutes of just staring at all these collapsed psychers, he calls for a medic.
Okay, no.
And leaves.
Yeah. And later on, you get like a note apologizing to you that whatever was in that communication must have taxed them to the point that they passed out, and they apologize if any.
Yeah, I tell them I write back.
Lost.
I'm just like, Choirmaster Bethel. It's just totally normal warp shit that happens. I'm sure this isn't the first time. Sorry about that. It was a very routine communication.
Yeah, you do also get a routine communication from Queen Lackmira as well.
Here we go.
Responding to the letter you sent her before you left Iacanthos.
Yeah.
Just thanking you for your letter. That it was nice to read about your exploits. That she's had some time to think about what you said, and part of her original reasoning for feeling that chaos was no longer a threat was that apparently at some point in the past there had been a small chaos cult that had risen on her planet, that in one of the deeper mines, that the Inquisition group had turned up and dealt with and assured her that no, there's no more chaos. You're perfect. You're perfectly safe from chaos. And now she's not 100% sure she's perfectly safe, so she's sent some people to go and make sure that, you know, no more chaos cults have cropped up on her world. So thanks you for the, you know, for the warning, basically.
I've been writing my letter for this is the adventures we had on the Lathe World, and
Yes.
like 90% of it is redacted. It's basically like, we had some nice meetings. We saw a lot of factories and didn't do anything inside any of them, and we attended a nice cult meeting. He ends it with, it is always better to be sure, but you can trust the Inquisition's word because they would never lead you astray.
Never.
Oh, that's funny right there.
So, Sister Dawn, not long after you hear that Nero is called to the choir chamber, you're, you know, doing your thing in your chapel. You haven't got a current, like any sort of current sermon plan for right now, because a lot of the crew are busy tied up with securing the Tide of Iron for long-term transportation. But there is a knock at the sort of the bulkhead of of the chapel, and you look over and you see two people. So one of them is the chief bosun, Spitzoni Sargon, and the other is the Infernus Master, Celestina Iger. The two that previously had sort of come to blows over your presence on the ship.
Okay.
It had been, yep. So it's Celestina that actually speaks first. Can we come in, sister?
My chapel is always open to anyone who wishes.
Right, they both come in. We wanted to apologize about what happened when you first came aboard. I know that you know, certainly from my experience with flyers on board ships, probably took a dim view of your belief, and that was beneath me to do that, and it was unfair on you, and it obviously caused friction in the ship, and led us to, and she indicates towards Spitzo, it led us into conflict. And I've come to understand now how much the ship and its crew has gained from your presence. Those who have been cleansed by your ritual have felt like a weight has been lifted from them. And so I just wanted to say that I was wrong, and that Spitzo and I have made up, so to speak.
Well, I'm happy that both of you have decided to be, well, gracious with each other finally. However, you misunderstand something. It is not my intention, or it is not my place to pass judgment on your feelings or lack thereof for the teachings that my sisterhood has. So you do not need to feel like you should apologize for anything. Your views on the cleansing now and after are very much irrelevant in the grand scheme of how this works.
So Sargon clips in now. Sister, may I ask a question? Is there a case where your ritual is undertaken by multiple people at once? Like, you know, have you ever had people burned together?
Like, do you mean fused together?
No, I mean, like, you've always done it to one person at a time, one after the other.
Yes. And you wish to do this, are you asking out of pure curiosity, or is there another intention behind your words?
Well, Celestina wishes to undergo your rite of cleansing, but she obviously has past hang-ups to do with being lit on fire. You know, she fears, I guess, it would trigger a trauma that may make it hard for her to maintain the composure that is required to complete the ritual. So I would like to join her to give her strength. That the two of us could survive it.
You misunderstand. It is a very much a personal endeavor that a person will go through when they want to be cleansed. Leaning on another person during this event will only show weakness in that fact. If you wish to resolve your sins, this is something that you must look deep at within yourself while the flames cleanse your body. Doing so together would lead to no effect on your soul. Outside of the fact that you two would be burned and you might feel like you've been cleansed, but in reality, the weight that was there before would continue to be there.
Right. They sort of like think for a moment and exchange significant NPC glances with each other.
I have no idea what they're conveying because I'm not an NPC.
That's right, yeah. Before Celestina says, thank you, and they both turn to leave. Sargon stops at the door and turns back. Sister, please don't tell Nero we came here.
Wow. What the F?
Nero
I feel when
is
stuff's
the
kept secret
last
from me.
person that I would consult on spiritual matters.
What?
Yeah.
Nero has literally talked to the machine spirits of his guns. He is the most spiritual member of this community.
But Nero also told Spitzoni to stay the fuck away from Dawn.
That's true, but I did so because they were trifling and it was causing problems on the ship.
Yeah.
All right. If she ain't trifling, I guess I don't care, but that's some real shit.
Well, look, you wanted to be your passive intimidation worked.
Good.
So
Always
that's why she
does.
waited.
Clearly not enough because
That's
they're
why she
here,
waited until
so-
she knew you were in a meeting with the astropaths before she went and spoke to Dawn.
Perfect.
Just so you couldn't stumble upon them. All right. So after that, the everything is loaded up. You're ready for to travel. I believe the next stop, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, is Quadus. Let me bring up the map so we can
Indeed.
see.
Our next stop is Quadus.
Yes, the pleasure world. Does anybody else have anything what they want to do in the lathe worlds before we enter the warp and go to Quadus?
Adrian would
Oh,
go lift a glass with Ezekiel to the lost souls of the Wrath.
Yeah. So for the point, for the plot point, basically, that we just want to get the information across. So unless you want to play that scene out, we don't need to do
No,
that.
I don't think so.
He just wanted to catch up with you, and so you guys, you probably either meet. Oh, would you rather he come to you or you go to him?
I think I'd bring him over here and show off the ship a little bit because
Okay, no worries.
you know him dogging on it being a merchant vessel, and it's actually better than the sword frigate that he's on.
Yeah, so certainly, he's pretty impressed by the ship as well. I mean, obviously, because you've got like the emissary of the Imperator trait for it as well. So it's an intimidating ship. It's like Nero given ship form. But he has opened the bottle of Amasec and toasts the loss of the crew. Is it just something that's just the two of you do? You don't involve anybody else?
I don't think it would just be the two of us, I think.
Okay, no worries. Well, he recommends at least staying in contact. You haven't spoken in several years, It shouldn't take the loss of your former ship to bring you guys back together again. It was just lucky he was in the same sector at the same time. In fact, the reason that his ship is here is they're picking up material to transport it down to Port Wanda, in case there is going to be some sort of major incursion by Chaos into the Click sector from the Maw.
Yeah, agreed. I'll write letters in whatever form that takes in the 41st millennium.
Okay, yeah. That's all good. All right, so you guys prepare the ship for warp and head to warp.
I think that Nero wants to have an uncomfortable discussion with Pierre at some point.
Okay,
privately.
well, I love uncomfortable discussions.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to prepare anything for them. So,
I don't take kindly to you accepting a compliment from Dawn instead of me. It's really upsetting that you would do something like that.
Next thing you know, you'll be accepting compliments from Adrian.
So whereabouts does this kind of a conversation take place?
I mean, it has to, of course, be like some sort of midday brunch business meeting in like a private chamber.
Okay, so it doesn't involve pushing the emergency meeting button.
No, of course, I don't want to summon all four of us. Just me and Pierre. Lord Commodore, I will be addressing the ship when we arrive on Quadus to explain how you are giving them leave on such a fantastic world for leave. And I have several things I need to speak to you about before we arrive.
All right.
The first is that you have been adamant about my not taking particular kinds of leave, and I just wish you to know, in case Reginald Kiosk has not informed you during your tutoring, that there are many things that a man can do on a pleasure world which do not end with children.
Yes.
And that I will be undertaking these particular activities during my leave, and I don't want you to be surprised if you hear anything. Not that you will, because it's not like I go around talking about it on a regular basis.
You've talked about a lot of your hospitality days.
That is...
on a regular basis.
Well, I honestly can't deny that. I suppose I did. You've got me there, Lord Captain. I guess I'm full of shit.
You are indeed full of shit. Are you asking for permission to have fun?
No, Lord Captain. It's leave. I don't need permission to have fun. Also, I attempt to have fun.
I didn't say it was leave for you.
Wow, Nero.
You said leave for the ship.
Nero, his skin tone changes to eggshell cream.
Eggshell's a sheen, but okay.
There's
the blood drains from his face.
there's a boarding ship getting ready for leave inside of the bigger ship, and it's called the No Nero ship. And everyone's they're lining up to get on board, and everyone's got Hawaiian shirts on, and looking like they're gonna have a big time. Like, there's Wally in the corner. He's got like his inflatable like pool stuff already inflated, and he's wearing it. Yeah, he's good to go. This is a beach episode, and Nero's not invited.
Wally has like the white nose covered in sunscreen.
Nero has to stay back and do his summer homework that he left to the last minute while everyone else goes to have fun.
Nero, you can go have fun. I'm just fucking with you.
I see. There are more concerns here, sir.
Okay.
Beyond just having fun. There is the matter of the Spider Bride, the information broker on Quadus that we are here to see.
Yes.
To track your sister.
Yes.
I, of course, have several personal undertakings I am performing for the ship and for my own need. I would like to have a private meeting aside from however the group approaches her, assuming she's still alive after we're done talking to her. And I may need the resources of the ship to fuel these personal quests.
What personal quests are you speaking of?
Well, I would love to track down the Exchequer and any more information we can find. The location of the person I consider to be the most dangerous rogue trader around, Janko Scourge. We are looking for any more information we can find on the fleets blocking our passage back to the Koronus Expanse. In addition, there is a possibility we might be able to use deductive logic to track down which Inquisitor has replaced a rogue trader secretly. I feel like this is a solvable problem with a wide enough information network.
Fair enough.
There's so much to get done, and this is probably the only place we will ever have an opportunity to gather the information we need.
You assume the DM wouldn't just pop it in like he usually does?
Well, I don't end up with messages in my pocket, Lord Commodore. I had to spend half a season trying to protect you and getting you to a secret shrine-based feather on a random world in the middle of nowhere so that you could recover your mother's secrets. I will remind you that I will track this information down at incredible cost to protect the ship, but I don't get letters and constant reminders. I have to do the footwork myself.
Fair enough.
There's one more thing. Have you tried the lamb? It's excellent. That's not the discussion. I just wanted to distract you with the lamb before we talked about the last thing. It is very good, though. You should try it with the jam.
What's the last thing, Nero?
You are aware that I have borrowed a book from Inquisitor Cassius Strain.
Yes.
Do you know what the contents of that book are?
I'm assuming something about Xenos, but
Yes, it is.
would you like to enlighten me, or
It
is
is a book on how to disassemble Xenos at their most basic component level.
Interesting?
You know, sometimes when you shoot something, you aim for where the heart is, but you don't really know where the heart is. I mean, that space elf we saw, they had a very human-like carriage, but, you know. Remember the Rakghoul?
Yes.
You know, you never really know where to shoot those things. Anyway, so I will be undertaking a private course of study with Inquisitor Strain, which has afforded me additional opportunities, but may require that I report on activities where we interact with Xenos.
I'm going to ask you to not. Or at least report him to the Xenos part. I don't care what else you do for the Inquisitor.
Inquisitor Strain has always been straightforward with you in a way that few other Inquisitors have, and he has offered you a great deal of aid at cost to himself.
Fair enough.
For the protection of the ship, I feel like staying on his good side is a good idea. And I think you already realize he's not the kind to Nero his way through a bunch of Xenos. If you have dealings with them that don't involve disassembling them at an atomic level, he probably will not care. He just wants the information necessary to complete his quests.
Fair enough. Then I guess
Nero's sweating slightly. Well, for the first time in his life, he has to have dual loyalties. It's rough. I'm glad you're so understanding of my expanded scholarship, Lord Captain.
You sold yourself to the Inquisition. I can't necessarily completely fault you on that.
I would say that I did not sell myself to the Inquisition, but Strain has been of incredible help to me. From helping enhance my abilities to stabilizing my mind during a time of great crisis, aiding me in the fight versus the chaotic Death Watch bringing armies to our aid. Train is an inquisitor we can believe in, and he has offered a pathway to a safer ship.
Oh, it sounds like a political ad.
Yeah.
Train, an inquisitor you can believe in.
I was about to say, Inquisitor Train 2020.
It's Solaris Knights talking through me.
We should work on a merch selling deal for him. You might like it.
Lord Captain, if you truly do not approve of this deal, I will reconsider.
All I ask is remember where your main allegiances lie.
He looks down at his heavy bolter, which has the Angelique Cowles chibi hanging off the end, and says, "Yes, I know where my allegiances lie."
Very well. Go have fun.
Well, we're not there yet, sir, but don't worry, I will when we get there.
But just meant in general.
I attempt to at all times. Except that one series of episodes where I was really upset and sulky. Then he stands up and leaves. But as he leaves, he picks up, what is it called? Like a shank of lamb and, like, eats it on his way out. He hands the like half-eaten bone to a servitor in the hallway somewhere. It's just like, throw this out.
I just had last night's leftover ham for lunch today, so I know what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. When the ship arrives in the Quaddus system, so you're at the helm, Adrian. First off, it's not as bad as the Lathes, where you were suddenly like beset by gravitational forces, but certainly there are significant forces at work within the Quaddus system. You pick up 11 different terrestrial planets in the system. So not just gas giants, but like actual rocky worlds. Give me a Scholastic Law Astromancy roll at +10.
All right. Not great. Yeah, I'll spend a fate point to reroll that.
Okay, no worries.
Worse.
So what I will say is that you can tell the planets seem to have a unusually fast rotation of the sun. Like to the point you'd say on most of these worlds, like a year wouldn't last more than probably a couple of Terran months. All at different speeds, obviously, as well. But like just the rate of solar orbit is quite high. So it means like when you're in the outer aspects of the system planning to reach any given planet, it requires some complex mathematics to work out where do I need to go to make sure I'm going to be at the planet I want to be at when I get there and it gets there as well. But overall, it's not a dangerous system to navigate. It's just a difficult system to navigate. And you can identify that only one of the worlds actually has like a livable atmosphere. The rest are, for the most part, just barren rocks. So the actual planet of Quaddus, which is, I believe, the fourth planet from the sun, has 3 other ships in orbit of it. Once you start, bringing your ship closer, they appear to just be like merchant vessels, or they don't look like naval ships. They're not any sort of major defensive position. They're just in a high station keeping orbit, basically. Nobody from the planet's surface contacts you. You get no Vox traffic. You're able to bring the ship right to planetary orbit, and nobody reaches out to greet you at all.
Shall I prepare a lander to go down, Lord Commodore?
Oh, there's no one messaging us? This is new.
No, there's nothing from the planet at all or the other ships in orbit.
Oh, I guess people want their business know what they're here for. Yes, let's send a message to say that we're going to land, dock, whichever, and proceed to do so.
Very well.
So the Vox operator comes back. There's no, like I'm hailing on the Imperial frequencies we would normally to organize landing, but nobody's picking up. I mean, I'm getting large life signs from a city at the North Pole of the planet, but nobody there is picking up the phone.
Did you check channel 69?
Twice, Lord Captain.
Damn, I thought that would work.
Not some AI you can confuse.
All right, well, let's just, I guess, prepare to land. If someone tries to vox us, let them vox us.
All right. So, other than the four of you, anyone else you taking down in the first lander?
Listen,
Cade?
we haven't talked yet about
Okay.
the message we're sending to the ship. So Nero gets on the like one circuit and says, "Crew of the Hand of Calixis, it has been decided that on this planet, this pleasure world Quadus, where rules are very lax and the laws of the Imperium are little known, we shall stop and have shore leave. Yes, shore leave, which you have not known for years. Someone on this ship, someone who is not me and is probably the executive officer, will arrange in groups for you to land on the planet and return at regular intervals. It was my plan that led us to this place for shore leave. Therefore, on command, you will offer 1 cheer for me and 3 cheers for the Lord Commodore, who has given you this great opportunity. Go. Cheer 1. Cheer 1, 2, 3. And I want to hear a whole ship of people cheering for us.
All right, there.
So we're going down there with a fleet of shuttles. We've got all the shuttles the ship originally had. We took shuttles off of another ship. We got shuttles for days, and they're all going down in a massive fleet for shore leave.
What about the crew of the Eternal Praetorian?
I don't give a shit about them. They're not my responsibility. That's Pierre's job.
They can have shore leave as well.
Okay, so you're taking your whole crew down at the same time. You're not like going to scout it first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We probably don't need to scout at Lord Commodore. And even if we do, I've got this crack missile launcher right here.
Might I suggest that while maybe we don't need to stop and scout it, that we don't send an entire wave of shuttles?
No, that's ridiculous.
That looks like
Let me
perhaps
throw
an
it the other
invasion
way.
force.
They're unarmed shuttles. Adrian, why don't you run an Auspex scan and high atmo? We'll fly the shuttles most of the way there. We'll check and see that nothing's wrong. I mean, these people are probably just uncivilized dogs that have no technology.
Okay, how about this?
I highly doubt that, but...
Let us, the squad of mercenaries we have, and then the other mercenaries that we have, go down first. Check it out. If it's fine, we'll send others.
All right, so Nero starts putting on his stormtrooper carapace. He's wearing his like baronial going out clothes, which is like a purple double-breasted suit with a purple felt fedora and a giant peacock feather in it.
And around
and around his neck is the crow bandolier. And he just starts taking it off and putting on his armor in the shuttle and says, "Very well, Lord Commodore. I'll inform the mercenaries to join us."
The planet, most of the planet is uncomfortably, but not quite dangerously hot. You're talking like a mean surface temperature of like 130 Fahrenheit, or like 50 degrees Celsius. So you would be uncomfortable for long periods, but it wouldn't instantly kill you. And the atmosphere itself is quite breathable. Near the polar region, it's a little bit more temperate, sort of more like, high 90s Fahrenheit, but with a relatively high humidity. But as you approach this polar city, which is quite large, it's a domed city, so it has a large glass and metal structured dome over the city. And to the eastern edge, well, it's hard to say when it's on the pole, but anyway, to one side of the city is a large landing platform which extends out from the wall of the city, so open to air. Big enough to probably house maybe 100 or so flyers at once. There's probably about 40 flyers parked here currently on the landing platform. The structure, because the city dome is glass, you can sort of see within it's a, very sort of temperate green city inside. Like you sort of see like tiered gardens. I don't know if you've ever seen like a skyline of Edinburgh in Scotland, where basically the castle's built on this one large mountain where effectively at some point in history a glacier moved through, hit a bit of hard rock and sort of went around either side of it and flattened the rest of the ground except for this one central mountain. So there is like a in one side, like not right in the middle, but to sort of one side of the city is like there is a sort of stepped up to a series of large noble estates. But otherwise the city's mostly at like a ground level. You can see one corner of the city appears to have fallen into heavy disrepair and collapse, but it certainly appears like occupied. So you're probably coming in here at like dusk, and the whole city is lit up with, electric lights, fire lights. It looks like a very busy, bustling city. When your lander touches down, people sort of come out, to sort of clear stuff out of the way to, assist anybody coming off. But like they all look like sort of menial servant or serf type people, and they've all sort of got their hands out for, a coin as they help you unload your stuff from the shuttle.
And why were we worried again? This all seems very, very normal. I mean, they're trying to rip us off.
A single shuttle, yes, of course. 40 shuttles, 50 shuttles. That doesn't look like someone coming to enjoy a pleasure planet. It looks like an invading
Oh, give
force.
me a break. We're here because everybody's nervous. You don't send peasants to come rifle through your things and beg for coins when you suspect that someone's an invader. Their communication suites were obviously down. Absolutely nothing is wrong.
Actually,
here.
yes, that's actually what you do to scope out something.
I mean, if you speak to any of these people, they can let you know that they're basically just like they don't work for anybody. They're just like they're poor and they make their money by helping like paying people for coin at the spaceport.
Yep. I've been to Jamaica before. I know how this works. You can't kill me.
Everything's sus. I don't believe anything.
Lord Commodore, sometimes, very, very few times, but this is one of them. You don't have to be suspicious of everything. Just most things. Now, can we take this armor off and get into our casual clothing? Maybe go meet a port administrator and scare the shit out of them and then get back to the vacation?
Yeah, I mean, out on the landing platform, it's quite hot and humid.
In any case, let's get inside the dome.
The dome.
Under the dome, you say?
Indeed.
Okay, so you enter the dome proper. So it's sort of built into a multi-ringed design. The city. So there's a central garden in the very middle, which has a large estate on the garden. You notice that rising out of the roof or the top of the building in the very center is a large clock, which is currently showing a time of 13 o'clock. And if you look at it long enough, you realize the clock is stuck at 13 o'clock. Then
Happy
there
hour.
are, sorry?
Happy hour.
Yep. Then there are like 4 ringed suburb extensions beyond that. So effectively there's like every, after each sort of batch of houses, there is like a single ring road which runs the entire circumference of the circle. Then there's another sort of group of suburbs, a wider ring, another group of suburbs, an even wider ring, eventually to get to the outside edge. The if you come in from the eastern side of the city, then towards your side is where there are like the hills that come up and have like sculpted gardens and noble estates on that side as well. So it looks like the eastern side closer to the spaceport is more sort of like the noble areas, and the western side is a bit slummier. And in fact, that collapse section you saw was sort of in the northwest section of the city. Overall, the radius of the city is about 20 kilometers. So you're talking like a diameter of 40 kilometers. So what's that, like 31 miles in diameter?
Give or take.
Give or take, yeah. Yeah, people are sort of like regard you as they walk past, but they're going about their daily lives. Like, you're as interesting as any other new visitors they've never heard of are. Like nobody. There's no welcoming committee. Probably some street vendors come up and try and peddle you wares.
I grab one immediately.
Yeah, and they're offering everything from like just miscellaneous bric-a-brac like keepsakes and tourist stuff to like hard drugs and that sort of stuff.
Tourist keepsakes like hard drugs. Okay.
No. From keepsakes through to things like hard drugs. So there's
So
there is the quarter spoon vendor over here, and there's the cocaine vendor over here. So
yeah, you've got your I Heart Quadisk mugs over here.
Are they directly across the street from each other? Is that what I'm hearing?
So Nero grabs one of these street vendors and says, I am Nero the Blade, the last word, the Hand of Calixis. Tell me where I can find someone of importance on this dock, so that the Lord Commodore may be welcomed properly onto this world. He was a very wealthy man come to spend vacation.
Well, all the Fife Lords live in the gilded houses. They're the ones there.
Who is the primary one? Who's number one?
Well, there is no, not since Lord Harlock left has there been anybody really in charge.
So, like, no one's at the top of the pack then?
No. I mean, there's the Fife Lords are the ones in charge, but they basically, they all maintain equal power.
That sounds extremely unlikely, but I'm not here to debate politics with a street vendor. How do you feel about getting a merchandising opportunity for rare off-world goods?
Oh, yeah, I'd be very interested.
You seem like you like selling t-shirts, knickknacks, baubles. I can get you a lead on some bulk goods that are very popular throughout the sector and beyond.
What kind of coin do you take?
What kind of coin do you have?
Oh, I mean, we do thrones here. We can do gold coins.
Throne gelt? That'll work just fine.
Yeah.
Gather up your fellow merchants, but you will lead them, and you will get the best deals out of all of them.
He sort of like looks around the other merchants. Okay.
Yes, do it. I'm very scary, and I'll break all of their legs if they don't do what I want. He says that last one really loudly so people can hear.
Okay, no worries. He leaves, and probably a few minutes later, you probably start to think maybe he's not actually coming back.
Don't worry. I mean, we're standing here at his cart, right? So...
No. Like he's wheeled his cart off as well. Like
damn it! I wouldn't have let him leave with the cart. I want to make sure he's going to come back.
Perhaps we should go look into these fief lords.
They're Fife Lords, and no, we should ignore them. We're looking for the Spider Bride.
Do you say that? So when you say that loud, like, a few people sort of give you like, oh shit, look.
Yeah, I find the closest one who does the oh shit, and I grab them by the shoulder and drag them over for a private conversation and say, you reacted, you know of what I speak?
Yeah, everyone knows the Spider Bride.
Tell me where I can find the Spider Bride.
In the Stepped Gardens. That's where her, what would you call it?
Is this the new core?
Yes.
Sorry?
Is.
No.
Yep.
But, in the high steps of the Pleasure Gardens, she has a pavilion.
Sounds like a lovely place.
You can't miss it. I mean, the spider motif is pretty obvious.
Definitely better than Fort Suffering.
Tell me what you know of her, good man.
So she's an information broker who also peddles in flesh. And I hear that she also runs an assassination ring.
Is this why you fear her?
Well, I mean, we lowly people in the street here, we don't get up into we're not really welcome in the gardens of Twilight. So that's for you rich folk.
That's very reasonable. You know your place. That's good. Continue serving the Imperium well, although it's not really clear whether the Imperium exists here or not.
So what you do know from time to time is every now and again when you're on the street, you'll hear like some preacher go past, preaching about how, you know, this whole place is corrupt and you're dooming yourselves to eternal torment and repent now and come back into the Emperor's good graces. And everyone just ignores them as they walk past, you know, basically shouting about how everybody here is going to hell.
Nero walks back to the group while this is happening and just says, Lord Commodore, I think it's safe to call the rest of the attack shuttle fleet down. The only thing they're going to be beset by is merchants peddling piddling wares.
Or, if we get into negotiations on this planet, we can use them as a bargaining chip.
Are you going to sell our crew?
Merely their purchasing power.
Ah, now I understand.
We're putting profit factor on the line. I got it.
I meet you halfway.
I don't like
on
that
this.
idea.
No, it's a good idea.
Should we need to negotiate, we can always say, well, we have a crew in need of shore leave.
No, that is a surprisingly good plan, actually.
I've been taking notes from you, Nero.
That is how tourist destinations work. They wait for ships like ours to arrive to offload the currency, and they literally can't survive without it. So, yeah, it's a surprisingly astute plan. Adrian, full marks. You've surpassed me.
So to these stepped gardens, then?
Nero just sighs. We're gonna just do the business first, huh?
Work before pleasure.
Well, the problem with that is that, you know, we go there and we talk to the Spider Bride and maybe we have to kill some people in the process or we kill her. And then it's all the city's on fire and the main quest line moves forward and we never actually get a vacation. We just fight our way out of the city.
Did you want me to like start saying like, you know, you're at the point of no return? Like this is if you got any side quests you want to do them now before you enter this.
Yeah, we need a giant box of potions right next to a save point, Jake.
I want to be clear that on one of my shows, I literally wrote a message in blood saying, "Don't come in here," and the players were like, you know, I think we should go in there. And I was like, I could not have been more clear.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you gave them a giant red button and then said, hey, don't press this.
What is your obsession with my forbidden box of mystery?
The thrice locked chest of Nero the Blade. All right.
I suppose you make an excellent point, Nero. Perhaps we should have a few days of relaxation before we get down to business.
It's the Lord Commodore's call, but
it is indeed.
I feel like I could use some time intimidating the merchants down here to make them pliable for when I bring our wares down.
So you want me to let you run amok so you can start intimidating people? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's a private project, of course, but you're probably better at something like this. We have a lot of t-shirts and mugs, and this is the perfect place to sell them. I mean, we did promise, and he'll say quietly and Rogue Trader can't, we did promise Olathrain Rathbone, the Inquisitor, that we would do this exact thing. Remember, she bought in on the investment. And I feel like it would be very bad to upset that particular person. You know, Olathrain Rathbone, the Inquisitor. I would point out
in a language that no one understands,
exactly,
other than us.
Yeah, I would point out,
don't...
Lord Captain, everywhere we've gone, people have canonically bought these knickknacks.
Just don't get yourself in trouble or lose a profit.
Lord Commodore, has either of those things ever happened to me?
The first one, yes. Second one,
also yes.
Yes, actually.
Do you actually want to go meet with the Spider Bride right now? We can do that. I'm just worried you're going to get the lead from her and want to rush off after your sister immediately. We still have that grand endeavor to complete to deliver these men to Kolth. Yes, that one.
I mean, I still have to do that first. I can't just abandon that ship.
Well, and that's on the way to our next destination as well.
Yeah.
It's sideways, but yes.
Yeah, well, you know.
I mean, obviously, go visit her, then start setting up supply chains of selling Lord Commodore merchandise.
Very well. And actually, Kolth isn't next. Sanofi is next.
Sanofi is next?
And then
Yes. Sanofi is on the way to Kolth.
Yeah, okay.
Kolth is on the far side.
I think
Sanofi is first. It's the Yeehaw planet.
I think the issue was we'd be like cutting it close.
We have a lot of time, and we can use that time to get better rolls on our grand endeavor.
I think you had more than enough time, because
Yes.
the whole thing was like, you said how long does it need to be there? It's like, well, the current rate will be there in like a year. Anything past that will be appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have more than enough time, Lord Commodore. We just have to make sure that the Tide of Iron and the 217th aren't injured while they're on our ship.
That's the other question. How do we build the points towards this greater endeavor?
I was going to make sure, for my part, that I trained them while they were on board and prepared them using some sort of like tactica or strategic roles.
So I've been tracking points from some roles you've been making, to do with like the investigation on the Lades. Yeah. So if you like, what I'll do is I won't do it on the show now, but I'll send you an update on the points you've acquired after leaving the Lades.
Okay, that's. I was just curious because it just not occurred to me that we hadn't really been discussing on like.
Yeah, well, because you're actually involved in this endeavor, not just like the whole getting stuff for a colony. Like, I'm actually, what you're doing is the stuff for the endeavor. It's not just a straight, okay, now make this roll, now make this roll. I'm incorporating those roles into what you're actually playing out in the game.
So we've been
Nero
doing
slaps
it
him on the
passively
back
as
and says,
opposed to.
Don't worry, I've been training them the whole time to make sure that their capabilities stay recent, and we'll do the role at a later date, but I definitely did that for a whole bunch of time.
Excellent. I suppose.
You might not know this, but I'm also pretty good at tactics, as long as those tactics involve destruction.
Yes, I do know this.
All right,
All right.
I grabbed a second random person just to confirm that the Spider Bride is where the first person said she was.
Yes, she is well known.
Then
Give me, what I'll take is, everyone can do this, you can give me inquiry rolls. Just plus zero inquiry rolls to see if you actually like, your initial grabbing people and shouting at them actually turns up any other useful information.
I actually was able to purchase inquiry. So I actually have points in it now. So yay.
I have a 5 inquiry.
I'll spend a fate point to up that to 1.9.
Yeah.
Had an 84. Yeah.
Oh, we found the new perception, or the new awareness.
I passed, but barely.
So just from the people you talk to, like there is a degree of fear about the Spider Bride, to the point that like nobody wants to get on their wrong side, and that some people attribute like mystical powers to her as well. So no one comes out and says she's got but certainly there is a lot of people are saying what they're saying under fear that somehow she'll hear what they just said.
I want to Gaston Pierre in the process.
How does that work?
This is a bad idea.
Start with intimidation.
Are you singing a song?
No.
Okay.
Start with intimidation, and every time they're like, the Spider Bride is this, that, and the next thing, he's like, well, have you heard of the Lord Commodore Pierre Cowles? I hear that he's in system. He is the commander of a fleet centered around the Hand of Calixis, a powerful and wealthy noble who has come to perform many trade deals here. They say that he is as stern as he is generous, as compassionate as he is unmerciful to his enemies, as cruel as he is kind. Yes, there is no man as manly as Lord Commodore Pierre Cowles, son of Angelique.
+10 charm test.
Charm? No! Damn it!
I don't know how you thought that was intimidating.
good
at all.
point. That's a really good point.
That's more of a performance check, really.
Can I
charm
make it
also
intimidating by being... No, you're right. I've dug this grave. Let's just go ahead and do it. Boom!
Oh my god, look at that!
Oh, wow.
That was a 25.
I didn't even have to tell you to do it better.
14. I would have passed without the
would have
plus
made it
10.
without the plus one. Yeah, that's right.
Incredible.
Plus 10, so.
Look, if you need a hype man, Lord
yeah.
Commodore, it's me right here.
Okay,
I want the people in the streets to be speaking his name.
Did that balance out to 0 because you have like a -5 from the Hand of Calixis?
Oh, you're right. And I have a -5
when
when I do non-combat topics. So yes, I have a.
But it's still a success, though.
Yes, I still
success.
pass with a 0.1 degree of success.
Okay, so yeah, so the people of Qantas will remember that. Okay, so certainly they seem to be impressed with this, this Pierre
If this
Cowles.
is an anime, this would be a musical number for Nero.
I'm just imagining, it's like someone says, "Oh, shh, the spider bite can hear you across the city." And you're like, Pierre Cowles can hear you across the sector. he's a new Chuck Norris.
It's like the grade school just one-ups him.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So what I basically, you guys get a feel for how the city here is laid out as such. So, because all these little merchant venues you come to right outside the spaceport are, just they're targeting people that are literally here to pick up or drop off goods. So, more likely just like merchant vessels. There is actually like a mercantile center of the city known as the Gilden Houses, which is like a large market estate area. There is also what passes for imperial presence here is a stone ziggurat known as the Locus Prefecta, which appears to be like a small administratum holding on the planet, probably just to manage, any key imperial affairs. But there's no astropathic choir on planet. There's no Arbites presence, no Departmentum Unitorum presence. This place is pretty much removed from imperial sight. There is an office of the Governor General, the Colony Governor, which is a very official looking major building, which appears to be shuttered up. You can easily find out from people that nobody has occupied that position in 5 centuries. There are multiple areas of entertainment. So entertainment here seems to be broken up into either gladiatorial arenas and pit fighting sort of things, into like theater and so street theater and enclosed theater and circus type entertainment, or alternatively like the pleasure gardens, where it's primarily like brothels and drug dens, like opium dens, or just there are places where you can just go and like experience tranquility. So they've got like aviaries where you can just go and like sit and listen to bird song, that sort of stuff. At the top of the tiered gardens are a series of noble estates known as the Ackerson Follies, that are all sorts of effectively anyone of real wealth lives there, or among some of the other sort of wealthy areas. But basically, the Fife Lords seem to be the only people which maintain any control over the city. And what's more, because they're not always in attendance, they come and go as they need to. There is no constant rule. It's whoever's. If anything comes up that requires any sort of guidance, the Fife Lords that are there at the time meet and deal with it. The building at the very center of the city, you find out is known as Gabriel Chase. That was the household of Gabriel Harlock before he disappeared centuries ago. According to the populace here, the clock as well on top used to actually work. So the planets in this sector are known for, because of the high rate of speed, it's every roughly 18 years, not exactly, but every roughly 18 Terran years, they get a full concordance of all the planets lined up. And so the clock used to effectively count time to the next concordance. And it would strike 13 when all the planets were aligned. The last time it struck 13, it stopped working. which was about 10, 11 years ago.
That's what I was going to guess.
Right around the time that his sister rolled through here?
Yep.
Okay. In Rogue Trader Can't, Nero says, isn't your holdings on this planet a Harlock, an empty Harlock mansion or some such like that? Am I correct? Right? It's like a abandoned manor waiting for someone to come back to it?
No, I think that was a different planet.
Is that
It might have been this
Tenofia?
one.
I turned to the shadowy GM figure.
No, that's definitely. I mean, you know that Harlock owned estates here as well, so potentially this Gabriel Chase is Harlock's household here.
Yes.
According
No,
to,
I'm thinking of the.
There's a mausoleum on Solomon.
I'm thinking of the one that's a fortress. There was like a fortress in Solomon.
Mausoleum.
yeah, that's right. That was on Solomon.
Yeah, you have like some sort of estate here that belongs to you.
So from what you can glean from people, Gabriel Chase, nobody owns it because everyone sort of accepts that, hey, one day Harlock's going to come back and he'll totally want his house back. What they do, though, is whenever there's like big parties among the nobles, they'll go and hold it at Gabriel Chase. And it gets cleaned up afterwards. And they make sure it's returned to a good state. But it's sort of like, let's go and celebrate in this place because it's this lovely big estate with beautiful gardens. And people here actually still maintain the gardens of Gabriel Chase, for example. It has fallen into some disrepair. But overall, the nobles or the five lords get together and maintain Gabriel Chase as a central building of interest.
These motherfuckers. Nero pulls out his enemies list and begins adding every noble family name on the planet to it and says, oh, look, is that the spider motifed pavilion on the high steps of the Steppe Gardens?
Yep, so you do see a long, wide pavilion tent, which has, like pavilion tents that have like that umbrella style boning as such, which creates the impression of, strands of a spider's web.
Someone is really working hard for this motif. I have to give them credit.
You can see, just around the tent as well, there are like several, sort of just sitting areas outside that have good sun coverage, and you can see a number of nobles being attended to by comely-looking women in sort of like silk dresses that are, like sort of attending them, like I guess in a similar model like a Japanese geisha. So bringing them drinks or.
I don't know. I'm getting Lolth vibes up in here, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna get fucking eaten. A Drider's gonna show up. I'll be rolling 5e characters in a few minutes.
I think Pierre just goes inside, pretty much.
Okay. As you guys approach,
as
you guys approach, give me awareness rolls at +10.
You son of a bitch, James.
Might as well be -10.
Well, I mean, at least it's not a social roll, right? But
what are you guys complaining about? Everybody's making it. Everybody made it.
No, not everyone made it.
Oh, sorry, no. Okay, my mistake. I was still reading your 1.1 sentence on charm. Okay, so everyone except Nero does notice as you're passing by these attendant ladies that one unusual feature they all have is they have a pair of elongated fangs, but they're not like their canine teeth. It's more like the two teeth outside your middle teeth, and they're sort of hooked fangs, almost like a snake's fangs, rather than like vampire fangs. Yeah.
Trying to possibly mimic mandibles.
Yeah, I said the main thing you pick it up is like more like snake's fangs, but yeah, I suppose it could be like the spiders, when the spiders' mandibles are extended, But yeah,
I'm just I think Pierre's more so confused if they're trying to be like all spidery here, and then why the snake fangs?
Yeah, it's obviously some sort of body modification anyway. So
right,
when it's obvious when they smile because they're quite long. Actually, they have it over bites because of it.
Yeah, does not notice when they smile, I guess.
So you enter the pavilion tent. So the inside is scattered cushions everywhere. You know, like it's carpet. There's carpet's been laid, but the pavilion is a permanent structure. But you know, there are like hookahs generating, you know, a sweet smelling smoke in the air. There are more people sitting around, like lounging around on bales of cushions, along with more of these attendant ladies, or you know, drinking fine wine or smoking various chemicals. At the far end of the pavilion tent is a woman. You guess it's the Spider Bride. She wears a half face masquerade mask. That is sort of like, it's a purpley mask with silver swirls on it. Like, it's a style you would normally hold up with like a stick, but it's actually been attached to her face by like a string, obviously. She's also reclined on these same cushions, but she has this very sort of H.R. Geiger-esque styling where there is numerous sort of metallic tubes that sort of like, you know, extend from various parts of her abdomen or arms or legs. Like, she's still, you know, very attractive and thin, but sort of has like this, it's almost like she's integrated partially into the, you know, the sort of throne of cushions upon which she sits by these cables that sort of disappear underneath the cushion pile. She has in one hand like some sort of small cigarette on like a little, one of those little sort of sticks you can hold them on. The other hand is holding some sort of wine goblet. And as she sees you walk in, she like puts both down and sort of sits upright and beckons you forward.
I have 2 questions, James.
Yes.
The first is, might be a little weird. Is the vibe in here more like Moroccan or like Bedouin?
I'd say like Moroccan.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'm there with you. Number 2, can we end a little bit early? We got to put Dave to bed because it's like 5 a.m. for him or something crazy.
That's fine. Yeah, so let's start let's start next session with meeting the Spider Bride then.
Okay.
I apologize, fellas. It's like 6 a.m. I'm
Fine.
fucking
We know.
done.
Yeah, at least for next week, you've been playing Cyberpunk for so long, you'll have already fucked up sleep anyway. So
Probably. Yeah.
How much XP do we get?
300.
Okay, I take the Elite Advanced Agent of the Inquisition.
Yeah, you do.
Obviously.
Wait, we're taking another 500?
Sorry?
We're taking another 500?
No, 300 for this session.
Really
I let you bargain me last time. You're not being bargained again.
Yeah, I did try to bargain you again. It would have worked too if it wasn't for those meddling kids. I just thought it was an interesting way. I didn't know that the Lord Captain would be like, well, you sold your soul to the Imperium. That hurt, Pondo. That hurt deeply.
I said sold your soul to the Inquisition.
Yes, exactly.
Your soul, or the Imperium Ariel owns your soul.
I misspoke. I would never not sell my soul to the Imperium. I'm forged by the Imperium. Accusing Nero of selling his soul to the Inquisition hurts. Perhaps because it's true, but also because he wants that sweet alien killing nonsense and the authority that comes with it.
Was this the is
Elite
this a
Advance.
different Elite Advance from what we were
No, it's the 600 run. And I've derailed all of my combat bonuses. I'm gonna be taking Forbidden Lore Inquisition and Forbidden Lore Inquisition plus 10 so that I can know all of the things about how the Inquisition operates.
Yeah, Nero's like, well, if I can't be a Space Marine, I
can be an Inquisitor.
Thing. Yeah.
Dave, let's see your outro.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. Sorry I died halfway through. I don't know, man. The late nights get to me sometimes. Hopefully next week I'll be in fighting shape, but yeah, I don't know, go buy my game, support the stream, and party hard. I don't know. Thanks for watching.
James, what do you got?
I am James, Grimdark James. You can find me back here on Wednesday for Rogue Trader, back again next week Wednesday for Cyberpunk, Back again next week for Rogue Trader. We won't be here on the 19th, sadly, because I had a Christmas party planned. But certainly, yeah, we're back here next week. Otherwise, find me on Arthur's Discord or under Grimdark Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, etc. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Former intern, current new cast member, Big Spoon. What do you got?
Yeah, I am Big Spoon. You can find me over on Twitter at BigSpoon223. I'll be back here next week. And then whatever the Solaris Knights release schedule looks like, you can find me there. So thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for running, James.
Pondo L Mad.
Sorry, I was just looking at how creepy this lady looks now.
Is there a
I
picture
am
of it
Ponder.
somewhere?
I put it on the cast chat.
Yep.
James
It's fucking
posted
creepy.
it.
It's like straight up Kerrigan.
Yeah, so that's why it says very H.R. Geiger, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I am Ponder. I'm Ponder the Mad. You can find me on YouTube or Twitch /Ponder the Mad, or you can find me here. I don't know when. At some point with.
You're on the schedule for Solaris Knights.
Solaris Knights.
Yeah. You're also on this show.
That's not until like I think a couple weeks.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, they know they can find me on this show. That's about it at the moment.
Listen, I never
the
assumed...
other place you can find me is my own.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's gonna make a really bad
place. Never assume what.
Never.
No, go ahead. No,
No. Please go. It's gonna make a bad joke at the expense of the audience.
Oh, okay. You can find me on my own channel with my own campaign. It's a 5e installed game called Hunters of Olvern, where it's done in a setting that I've made myself. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern.
I think he's having to have the crutch of an established setting, and he can make his own setting up. Feel attacked.
That's how you know he's not an AI.
There's nothing wrong with using established setting. I just want to use mine.
Thanks, Bondo. Your validation is important to me.
It's not. No, it's not. I can sense the sarcasm.
Pondo, your validation actually is important to me. You have anything else before?
I don't know why it is.
I'm a social media influencer, don't you know? I'm a YouTube marketer.
Pondo, send me some pictures sometime about the stuff you're painting. I don't see anything you've been painting, so
yeah,
I want to see you going. I want to critique your awesome skills.
I want to see him airbrush the side of a van with a Space Marine.
Holding out a sword with a sister of battle clinging to his leg.
I don't feel.
Did you just pull Star Wars that?
It was like,
yeah, that's good.
Any Conan cover of the 80s.
Attempted any sort of highlighting or anything like edge highlighting, which I don't know if I want to. But yeah, no, I think
very nice.
It looks pretty good for black armor, which that's all I could ask for.
Yeah, I saw over black armor. I hate painting it.
Is black the easiest?
No, I mean, it depends on how you do it because it's hard. You can't really shade black armor. If you start by spraying it back, you can't apply a shade to it because there's nothing that's going to be darker than black. And you generally got to highlight up through like 2 or 3 different tones.
Yeah, so I mainly am using the crutch of the sheen from the lacquer and sheen from the paint to apply the highlighting because I'm experimenting, trying to get like some sort of color scheme going on.
Okay, I can see to me a primer behind you. That stuff smells.
It works good though.
Yeah.
I'm used to stuff that smells, so it's kind of...
You got that paint fumes in your blood.
Paint, lacquer, both
varnish,
acrylic and solvent based.
Yep.
A product called Tileclad is probably the worst. It's a solvent based epoxy that goes on the floor. So That's not the worst fumes I smell in a day. That's me.
Okay. That's it. We're done for the night. We'll be...
Okay.
Are we not meeting next week? Or is that another group?
No. This next week we're good, not the following week.
Okay. All right. We'll be back next week, but not the week after. Find out more about the Sparta... I don't know. Fuck it.
I should point out, by the way, the week after that is is Boxing Day. I don't know if that matters to you guys.
We don't celebrate it here, but I respect your holiday choice to
Well,
celebrate.
it won't be because I'm a day ahead of you, so it'll be my following. It'll be my day after Boxing Day.